Hello, digital artists. This is Miss Burton. I'm here to explain how to do your illustration of an emotional song lyric with abstract art. So the first thing you're going to do is choose a lyric from a song that makes you feel a strong emotion. And the word lyric means words. Okay, so that words from a song. So this is a song with words. This is not a song that's just instruments. Okay, I've chosen a song from one of my favorite musicians who does very emotional songs. His name's Peter Gabriel. And so I just went to a Google page in my Chrome browser and I typed in the name of the artist and the name of the song. The song is called Don't Give Up and the word lyrics. Okay. And then the lyrics came up for me and I don't want to copy the whole song. I just want a piece of it. So I've already selected a section of the chorus. And it says, don't give up because you have friends. Don't give up. You're not the only one. Don't give up. No reason to be ashamed. Don't give up. You still have us. Okay, so once I've selected, I'm going to right click and copy. Then I'm going to go back to my drawing and I'm going to right click and paste. And I should just get a text box here. Okay, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to move this down to this kind of purpley pink box down here on the bottom that says, what is your song lyric and who wrote the song? Now, I didn't include who wrote it, and I can increase this space here, zoom out, so I have more space. Okay. And I can use my selector tool, just double click, and then I can hit return, and 2 dashes, and the name is Peter Gabriel. The song is Don't Give Up. Okay, so I have that information there. And I'm going to be using these lyrics for a couple of things. I'm going to be illustrating them. So I'm going to create a drawing that tells me about those lyrics, but it's going to be abstract. And I'm going to use those lyrics in my drawing as well by going to the insert menu and using word art. Okay. So we'll get to what abstract means in a minute. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at some web pages for artists who have worked in abstract art, and I can get an idea. So I want you guys to spend a few minutes exploring the work of each of these artists, and then you can choose a few of those favorite pieces of art, and this turquoise colored box over here is a place for you to drop some of those. And you can see I did that previously. I already have some, but I just put them out of the way for now. Okay, so I've already opened these websites for you. We have an artist named Bridget Riley. There's a whole bunch of her artwork here. An artist named Leon Polk Smith, also abstract. Okay, and what you might start to notice, that's just a pop-up that we can close, is that these artists, this is Henri Matisse, and his art is mostly down in the bottom, is that with abstract art now, with the exception of Henri Matisse, most of this art is not pictures of real things. Now, Henri Matisse kind of does some stylized human bodies in there, but they're pretty abstract, which means they don't necessarily look like real things. Okay, so this one is from 1953. Unfortunately, I can't zoom into this one. These ones on the bottom, you need to click on the link to see a larger version. Okay, and these ones, I think you can just click on the individual piece and it should come up bigger. There we go. And even then I get a magnifying glass and I can go in and I can look at them bigger. Okay, so this is Matisse and Vasily Kandinsky. And I need to scroll down to start to see his work. And he starts off more figurative, and figurative means that you can tell what's going on. And it's a little bit kind of blurry-ish because he started out doing impressionist work. And impressionists are just kind of blurry looking. But then we get more and more abstracted where we're seeing mostly just lines, colors, shapes. And I can zoom in on that one. Now, some of these I can right-click copy image if I like them and I want to put them into my picture here. Remember that when we resize any image that we bring in, we grab it from a corner. Okay, and I can just drop that over there. With Bridget Riley, if I try to do that, this website won't let me do that because here they're selling, it says contact for price, or it says £7,000. She's a British artist. So here they're selling her artwork from this website and they don't want you to copy it from here. But notice that if you like one of these pieces of art, they give you the title. So here's the name of the artist and here's the title, and that's the year that it was done. So this is called Sylvan, and I can copy it and paste it and just do a Google image search for this. So I can paste that in there. And then this is giving me boat models and I don't want a boat. So I'm going to add the name of the artist to make it more clear and see if I get that one. Okay, and I'm going to click on the images tab and there it is. Okay. So if I right click copy on that one, that says copy link address, copy image. Okay, and then back here. Okay, and I can paste it. And again, resize it, shrink it down by grabbing it from a corner only. Okay, so I can drop a couple of pictures in there. You can get more from other artists. And we have also Alma Woodsy Thomas. And this article doesn't have a ton of her artwork. It talks about her and it gives you a few pieces. And I also gave you a video about her so you can learn more about her, and that's here. Okay, so you want to look at the abstract art and get some ideas. Notice that these artists are working mostly in shape and color. Color is a really big deal for abstract artists, but shape and then line, with Vasily Kandinsky especially, we can see some kind of black lines in there. It doesn't want to zoom, come on. There we go. Okay, and you can see they have thickness. So if they're not perfectly straight, then you can go into the line menu and you should have experience now using curve line, polyline, curve tool, polyline tool, and scribble tool. Okay, you can go back and watch some earlier tutorials that I gave you this year if you're still not super clear on that. Okay, so after you've done the first 3 steps, then you're going to start creating an abstract drawing, so non-representational. I don't want to draw pictures of real things like cats or landscapes or people or something like that. Okay, and I'm going to illustrate the emotions of the song. So let's go back to the lyrics, and I've heard this song, so you want to pick a song that you are familiar with. So I have the lyric here, don't give up because you have friends. So I don't necessarily want to draw pictures of friends. I might be thinking about friends and what their faces look like. But I'm going to illustrate the words that are in here or the ideas or the feelings that are in here. So if I'm saying don't give up, I'm encouraging someone. But if I'm telling them not to give up, then they're probably feeling kind of low. They're probably feeling depressed or sad. So I want to think about how could I use color? How could I use shape and line to give the feeling of encouraging someone who's sad? Now, there is a music video that goes along with this, and it is 2 people just hugging each other for the whole time. They're giving each other support by giving each other a nice long hug. And that, so I could actually think about how could I show that idea. And I'm even looking in Bridget Riley's art piece here, and I'm seeing the movement. Now, that might make me think of moving water or air or fire or something like that. Or I might think about some shapes that are kind of wrapped around each other. Okay, so I can go in to my shapes menu. Certainly I can use a few shapes from there, but I don't want to just use shapes. So I could look for shapes that might wrap around each other. I don't know about that. I'm going to try the curves tool. I'm actually thinking about, in science, the idea of DNA. So I'm kind of thinking of the DNA double helix and how it wraps around itself. So anyway, I'm just making a shape with the curve tool, and you know that they default to give you a black outline. I'm going to get rid of that. And then I want to choose colors that I might think of as being supportive. So for me right now, I'm thinking of kind of a red violet. I actually have one down here that I like in my custom menu. And then, so that's a warmish color. It has violet in it, which is a cool color, but it has red in it, which is a warm color. So it's getting warmer. And I might wrap around a sadder color. I often think of blue, and blue is pretty typically, whoops, didn't mean to do that. It's pretty typically, actually, you know what? I can just duplicate this, Control D, and then I can change the color. And I could rotate this, flip it horizontally, and now it's the opposite direction. And these look like one's in front of the other because that's what's happening here. So I might need to play around with them. Now this almost looks to me like a leg and a foot. So I'm gonna, I think, adjust that so maybe it doesn't look so much like a human figure or a little bit like a worm or something. So I'm just going to play around with shape and line and color. Now I could certainly grab this and duplicate and make copies of those as I see some repetition in some of these. Here's some other paintings that I brought up, and or prints. And some of these are from Bridget Riley, and there's certainly repetition of shape in there. So I can take ideas from these artists, but I don't just want to directly copy them. Okay. Now you can also use gradients, and you can add in line. So I could do polyline if I want something sharper. So if I'm thinking of supporting someone, telling them don't give up, I probably want to be soft and gentle with them instead of sharp. And polyline tool is going to, oops, it's still curved. Polyline tool is going to give me straight lines with points on them. And so if I'm thinking about telling someone not to give up, I probably don't want to stab them or poke them. And I notice that when I make shapes with the polyline tool, that's what happens. So as you're thinking about the emotions that you're giving, that you're illustrating here, think about how to, what kinds of colors would work with that, what kinds of shapes would work with that. And you can certainly add lots of different things from your shapes menu if you want, if it makes sense. So if I'm thinking about not letting someone give up and supporting someone, now I don't want to go in and do the symbol of a heart, even though I might think, oh yeah, show them some love. That is very much representational or more figurative. So I don't want to be so literal there. I want to think about, maybe I want to add some more warmth here. And I might think about the idea of a heart and think about where would that be. So I could certainly go in and here I am kind of making a heart. Now I could make something that's maybe kind of related to that. And usually the first time I make something with the curve tool, I need to play with it a little bit, tweak it, make it feel better. So that might look more like an actual human heart. Now there's no rule that you have to get rid of your black outline, but I don't want you to just grab something that, ooh, I like that. Now this seems like it can kind of, ooh, that kind of fits right in there. Kind of makes them fit together a little bit. So I encourage you to really experiment with what you're doing here. Now, I might want to go in and add some line. And I don't know. I'm just playing around here. Now, I could think about how Vasily Kandinsky had some line in his that has different thicknesses and is not perfect in any way. It's not exact in any way. So there's some thicker areas and some thinner areas. And think about if you draw with a marker. Ooh, that made it look kind of like a ribbon. So that kind of kept, I think that's kind of cool. It kept the gradient that I had used before. Sometimes Google does that. I don't really know why. Okay, so I could certainly play around with these ideas. Now, there's a lot more that I want to do. I want to go in and really experiment, explore, and look at some of the artists whose works are more busy, where there's a lot going on. And then you can look at some where there's less going on. A lot of these Bridget Riley ones have a lot going on. This is Henri Matisse. And I noticed that with Leon Polk Smith, he often has just a few things going on. And so there's less to look at, a lot more simplified pieces. And that doesn't mean it's better or worse, but for you, I encourage you to do more. You can always get rid of stuff. So maybe I want repetition of this. Okay, maybe I like this piece right here, and I could go to arrange group and glue it together, and then I could duplicate and repeat that if I want. And if I repeat it, Google's going to help me to line things up. And oops, I'm going off the bottom of the page, so that's not so good. You want to keep it on your page. Now with words, I'm going to increase the size of this so that I'm using more of my space here. I'm going to use my entire page. With words, I am going to use Google, Word Art. Now where did that go? Here, there it goes. This thing wants to be in the way, and I don't know how to get that out of the way. Okay. Nope, that's a different lyric from a different song I was illustrating. That's the illustration I was working on earlier. So I don't know. No, I'm going to undo, and that'll get me back. What happened to my lyric? There it is. Okay. I'm just going to put that here. And don't give up. So I don't know that I'm going to put don't give up in there a bunch of times, but I think I will do that once to start. So it's in the insert menu, word art, and I can do all three of those words. And then it comes up like that. And it defaults to Arial font with that light blue with the outline. So think about what is a font. Explore some of the fonts and feel like, what is a font that would really give you that feeling? And what are some colors that would really give you that feeling? Maybe it's more of an orange or a red orange. I don't like the way those colors go together. I could always go to custom. I'm thinking maybe a red orange. Maybe it's lighter. I don't know. I'm still not a huge fan of that, and I can change the size. And right now I'm holding shift so that I keep the height and width ratio the same, or proportion. And I can certainly, go in and do italic. Get rid of my outline. I can make my outline another color. Ooh, I think that's just too much going on. And remember, you can always right-click on your background and pick a color for your background that'll work for now. And not in love with that, but play around with it and think about how you could move stuff. Now, if I want this to be, this kind of looks like flames now. If I want this to maybe wrap around here, what I could do is if I have a text style that I like, I'm still looking for a nice supportive, don't give up. Maybe I'll do that one, get rid of the italic. Okay. But I want it maybe to curve around. So what I could do is I could just do one word at a time. So if I click on here, sometimes you have to click it a few times, and I just leave it at don't, I can duplicate that, and now I have all the formatting. I have the same font, I have the same size, I have the same colors in there, and I'm just going to double click it and put in the other word and duplicate that again, and I can use my arrow keys to move it. And if I double click it, I can just, overwrite that. Don't give up. So now I can take these words and I can rotate them and wrap them around. So that's just the title of the song, and it's part of the chorus that's repeated. But I'm going to click shift and put these together and group them. And then I'm going to hold shift and I'm going to resize them. So I need to have room for lots of lyrics in here. And I'm just not in love with that color. I'm really not. Not play with it. Okay. It's a little bit matchy right now. It kind of matches this maybe a little too much. But I want to think about it because you have friends. So you have friends. And again, now I can keep this, duplicate that. And so if I spell correctly, they're using an apostrophe because the word really is because. Right? And duplicate that. Double click it and type in U. And I could wrap this around like a hug. I could just continue with the same text, although maybe that word friends is extra important. I think it is. I think that's a big key here. And I think I'm going to make it capital. And this font might be kind of hard to read or just not right for this. So I can go in and pick another font. And friends is a very wonderful word. So I probably don't want it to look creepy, right? Or too maybe that's too playful. Try that one and see how that looks. I kind of like that. But because it's word art, I can change the shape. Okay, and you can certainly change the color. So you pick colors. Ooh, nope, don't like that. You pick colors that feel good to you. Maybe I'll go into this. It's prettier. Okay, and you experiment. Maybe I want to give this a black outline. Make it thicker. Nope, I do not like that. Undo, Control Z. But you can play around with it. Maybe I like it white. Okay, so you can play with this. Anyway, you get the idea. I want to play around and use up my space in interesting ways. And I often I'm trying to get this to go to 0. It takes some, there we go. You have friends. So this doesn't look super great, but I can keep playing with it. And maybe I want to add, maybe I want to add some polka dots. So if I click once, I get a circle. If I hold shift and grab the corner, I can make it smaller. I can make it yellow. I can get rid of that outline. Nope, I don't like that. But play around. Okay, and the beauty of digital art is you can always undo things. You can change them. You can delete things. Okay, keep trying until you like it. And if you never do, you can get rid of it. Remember, you've got gradients. I have some custom ones that I've tried here a little bit ago. You can overlap things. You can change the color on that one. Oh, looks like a nose. Okay, and think about how to relate your text to what it is that you're drawing in here. Play around with your curve tool, your polyline tool, you can do your scribble tool if you want. You can put in some shapes from the shapes menu, but you're going to want a combination of those. And take out, if you get stuck, go look for some pieces of art from the artists that I have listed. All right. I feel like I've talked long enough. But always double check your directions and make sure that you've done all the things that I've asked you to do. Okay, and check to see that you've used the resources. If you're really stuck, this is not well spaced out on here. Remember, you want to use the entire page. So what else can I do here to bring this together? Maybe I want to change the color for just part of this from section to section, and I kind of like that. So keep experimenting. Spend some good time on that. I didn't put in the word have, did I? Because you have friends. Okay. All right. Can't wait to see what you do.